Hello world, Shelly here, and today I want to talk about eyeshadow brushes. This is long overdue. I've been meaning to make a brush video for a while. Thank you to Carrie, who is not the only person that has requested this, but the most recent. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. It is time. First I want to point out, CoverGirl has come out with these new lip stains. I've not tested it as a long wear. I just put it on for the first time for this video. Why is everyone making everything taste like cherries? Are you trying to bankrupt me? Thank you. I still appreciate it. I get this like whiff, not whiff with my nose, but like whiff when I inhale. Like I can taste it when I breathe it. I don't even know. It's if these hold up, I'm impressed. They're like a marker, like you draw onto your lips, and then it's like very opaque and it feels like nothing and there's no transfer. I don't know. We'll find out. I got a couple of shades of it because I was really hopeful. And we will see. Apparently you can wear lip gloss over them. I'm wondering if they're going to be like an even better alternative to the lip stain that's on TikTok everywhere. I can't remember the name of this company. It starts with an S. Sashu? I don't know. These peel-off ones where you put it on, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then you peel it off. I'm wondering how these are going to compare, because if they stay as well as these, this is way easier with no 10 minutes. Like, Anyway, there's your little irrelevant to the content of this video, but very relevant to the content of this channel, tangent. You're welcome. Let's talk eyeshadow brushes. So, when you're doing eye makeup, good brushes make a difference. However, there are lots of inexpensive brushes that are very good. So, good does not mean you have to spend a ton of money. I'm going to talk you through some of the things you want to look for. I have been very seriously into my makeup for the past 10 years or so. And I have learned over that time that investing in good brushes is a solid investment. My first set of Wayne Goss brushes, I think they turned 6 years old this year. They're like new. And yes, they're expensive, but they're like new. It's been 6 years. I can't tell you how many e.l.f. brushes I have destroyed and thrown away and repurchased and destroyed and thrown away in that same 6 years. So when you look at it that way, they're not really expensive, but I'm not going to talk about recommending any specific brush. I want to talk about the shapes and the uses of each brush so that you can use that information to find the brushes that are your perfect fit, whatever your budget at the time and whatever you plan to evolve into. Some people don't take their makeup as seriously as I do. And you don't need hundreds of dollars of brushes. Now, I'm a brush hoarder. I'm not going to pick them up and show you. I have a bunch of brushes right here because I laid them all out in order. Yes, I'm that girl. But I hoard brushes. I have so many, and I don't even use a fraction of them. I basically use the same 5 or 6 every single time I do my makeup. But really, they break down into a handful of shapes and sizes. So let's talk about them. First distinction, you will find, back in the day, it was almost guaranteed that the softest, best blending brushes were natural hair, like animal hair. And that's not necessarily true anymore. The synthetic brushes have come really, really, really far. There are brands that make natural hair brushes that claim to be cruelty-free. Wayne Goss's brushes are one of those. So it just kind of depends what you are interested in. If you avoid animal products, if you don't care either way, and you're not bothered by it, I will only go with cruelty-free natural hair brushes. And I don't know, if they weren't Wayne Goss, I probably wouldn't buy them. I love his brushes. But I'm not in the market for more natural hair brushes, if that makes any sense. I'd rather use synthetic brushes now that they're so good and there's no animals involved. I have a couple favorite brands. Wayne Goss brushes, BK Beauty brushes. The What's Up Beauty brushes that I got recently, I filmed this lives right on, I've been wearing this so much. This was What's Up Beauty, the Dragon Eye palette. The video I filmed with the eye look from this palette, I used their brushes. I have a bunch of them here I'm going to show you. e.l.f. makes great brushes, but I prefer their face brushes rather than their eye brushes. So after you pick between natural hair and synthetic, and the natural hair brushes are typically more expensive, the next thing, and you might have to do a little digging to find this kind of information out, but one of the things that makes a brush really soft as far as the comfort level when you use it is whether or not the tips of the bristles have been cut, or if they have not ever been cut and they are just positioned higher or lower in the ferrule of the brush handle to give it the shape. You know, because if you come in and you just have brushes all, you know, bristles that are all one length and then you just cut it to shape, those ends are more blunt feeling than hairs or bristles that haven't ever been cut, that are naturally tapered. And sometimes you gotta dig for that information, sometimes you're not going to find it, but I'm pretty sure the e.l.f. brushes are cut because I can feel that when I use them on my eyes. And it's just, I'm not a fan. I don't like them. I like the uncut bristles. So those are two things as you're looking into brushes that might make a difference in your preference one way or the other. So let's go through my typical eye look and the order in which I usually go through the brushes I use. So first off, I need a fluffy crease brush. And this is for the transition color from the crease and upward. And because I have deep set creases and slightly hooded lids, my personal preference is a brush that has a bit of a taper. So I'm going to compare these two brushes. This is the Wayne Goss number 3. He doesn't make this one anymore, I don't think. And the BK Beauty 202. But like I said, this doesn't matter which actual brush I'm talking about. You're just looking for similar shape. So I want to talk about the difference between these two. Do you see how the black Wayne Goss brush has more of a point? It comes to more of a point, like a tip at the end, versus this BK Beauty brush, which is more of a rounded top. Now I'm going to put them this way, and I'm going to hope that I can get it to show. They're approximately the same diameter. You see that? And they're also approximately the same sort of density. I did not wash my brushes before this, but do you see how it's kind of fluffy, kind of, you know, I don't have to use a lot of firm pressure to get the bristles to move. They're pretty loosely packed. Not super loosely packed, but they're not super dense. That taper, I prefer personally, because when you put it to the crease of your eye, do you see how that taper kind of anchors itself right under that bone, that orbital bone there? And because my crease is so deep set, that little taper is like in my orbital bone. And then when I'm doing my windshield wiper crease motion, do you see how the rest of it, I'm holding on to the tapered tip there. That's in my crease, and that's laying down sort of a packed crease color. But then the rest of it splays out and gives the nice blurred transition color. And this one does something similar, but I find that without that tip, it doesn't stay in place as well, and I'm more likely to go out of bounds, if that makes any sense. I need guides. I need guidelines. So these are my guardrails. Like, my orbital bone is my guardrail there. So that way I don't have to have a steady hand. I'm lodged under my orbital bone, and the rest of the brush is doing the work for me. Now, I still use this for blending, especially after I've got my base down and I just want to smooth out those edges. The BK Beauty brush is fantastic for that, and it's just the right size. But that's a personal preference of mine. What you really want is a semi-loose, like middle of the road density, rounded dome sort of a somewhat larger, fluffy brush. Whether it's got the tip or not, that's entirely up to you. If you don't have deep set crease, you might not benefit from that. Here's another one from Wayne Goss that is very similar, but it's just got a more pronounced tip to it. And I love these brushes. They're just beautiful. Once I've got my transition shade down, I go in with a slightly darker shade for my actual crease. And for that, I want a slightly more dense than the previous one brush, and I want it to have a flat paddle shape to it. Not a packing brush. It still needs to be fluffy because we are still blending matte shadows in most cases for your transition and your crease. And here are 3 that I like. And let me line them up so that I can get the shape to you. All right. So here they are looking at them front ways. And here they are looking at them sideways. Do you see how they are wider and then somewhat flat? I'll show you this one. Wider, flat. There's the width of it. There's the flatness. This one is from What's Up Beauty. That's the width. And there's the flat. Now, the reason I like this shape is it is perfect for your crease, but it also does some of the blending for you. So the tip from your pointed, fluffy crease transition brush is likely to lay down sort of a little bit of a windshield wipe there in your crease because that point is pointed. It's not going to be as blendy as the rest of the bristles that have all splayed out, right? So now you need a blendy brush, but you don't want it to splay out and mess up your transition. So the flatness of this fits into your crease. And you see how it doesn't splay out really high to the top? You are basically using the softness of the brush to blend the crease without it going too far into that transition you just set down. So anything that has, it's still a fluffy, a little bit denser than the previous brush, but not super dense. I'm going to try and, do you see how it's still a fluffy brush? Still a fluffy brush. Still a fluffy brush. So this one is the Wayne Goss 18. This one is my #1 favorite of these brushes, the Sigma E25. And this one is the What's Up Beauty R105. Of these, the What's Up Beauty are probably the most reasonably priced of these. Ooh, I got one from BK Beauty as well. This is from the Angie Hot and Flashy collection, complete with a Ziva cat hair on it. I'm sorry if you're waiting for Ziva. She is not in the room today. She ran out, and then I closed the door to film, and I said, in or out? And she didn't come in. This is the A501. Same idea. Flat. It's fluffy, but flat. Fluffy, but flat. Perfect for crease. Once I've got my crease down, I use a flat packer brush to put a dark matte in the outer corners of the outer third of my lids. Sometimes I will go straight into glitter there. But either way, you want a flat packer brush. And there are so many good flat packer brushes. These are ones that, since you're not relying on the brush to do the blending, you're really just trying to pack on color, all you're really looking for is a flat, dense brush. And these you can get away with using very inexpensive brushes and not have any problem. The idea is just dense and flat. Now I'll show you my favorite one, which you're going to be able to guess because you've seen them a million times. My favorite one's this middle one. It's the Smith, why did I forget the number just now? C153, I think? But I can't see it because I'm blind. And Sherlock, is there ever going to be a day for the rest of my life that Sherlock does not make an appearance? 253. Wow, my brain kind of remembered part of it. Flat packer brushes have some density. So, like, do you see how It's not very floofy. There's nothing to fluff, but I love this one because of the triangle shape. It is perfect for your inner third of your lid, but because it's also got some width to it, it's perfect for the outer side too. It's a perfect flat packer brush. It's my favorite of all time. But I have others that I also love. This is the MAC 233. And see, flat and dense. It can pack on color. This one is the What's Up Beauty R106. Same idea. Flat packer. Dense. Not fluffy. You want to pack color on. And like I said, since you're not relying on those hairs of the bristles to do your blending, it's a little easier to go cheap on your flat packers. Honestly, I have half a dozen more flat packing brushes that I absolutely enjoy. Alter Ego makes a great one. There's, which brush number is this? Number 5. Oh goodness, what do I have? Oh, I love this one too. Which one is this? Oh, it's Alter Ego number 4, just bigger. And I'm just not gonna go through them all. I have so many. So, oh, this one's good too. Which one is this? Oh, I don't know. It's from It Cosmetics. I can't remember the name of it, but I like this one too. Again, flat packer, dense. Once you got that down and you got your color down, you got your dark matte, you got your dark glitter, you got your light glitter, you got your lid all covered, now we're kind of in that like polishing mode where we need to finish the blending, replace any color that got muddied in the process, you know, that kind of steps. So the next brush I need is a very small, detailed, fluffy brush. This is for perfecting the blending. It's also for if you like to put a deeper, darker color at the end in the very outer 7 of your look. It's for that as well. It's also for fixing any little blending issues with your transition and your crease shades. So small, fluffy. Same density as the first big fluffy. We're just going small fluffy. Here are 3. My favorite in the center here is the Wayne Goss number 20. I don't think he makes this one anymore, but maybe it'll come back someday. Another cat hair. Thank you, Ziva. This one is from the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy. It's the A504. Now, these, again, they're fluffy. They're soft. They're not super dense. You want something that will blend. We're not trying to pack on color. We're trying to blur it out. And then this is the What's Up Beauty R103. This one has more of a point to it, so it can be good for detail, especially in the outer corners. In my case, I have this droopy outer corner weight of my outer lids, and a brush with a tip like this can really perfect that outer 7 and smooth out the blur so it looks like it sits where it's supposed to. But the point is not mandatory. I have found that, well, like I said, the Wayne Goss one is not pointed, and it is my favorite. These are 3 that I very much enjoy for that purpose. Basically, you're looking for medium density, fluffy, soft, small brush. And I'm going to put a couple of these side by side just to compare. Like, here's the original Wayne Goss and the small one. So first one is my transition. Second one is my perfecting and outer corner. Do you see the difference in size and diameter? But they're both fluffy. So the key there, fluffy. I'm going to also put this up against, let's do the BK Beauty, the original fluffy I showed you, and then the detail fluffy. Do you see they're both fluffy brushes, but there's the difference in their diameter. So just a smaller version of the same kind of brush, right? Then, if I'm going to do any sort of lower lash line, I like to have a medium density, small detail brush. Now, these are not usually the brushes that a lot of kits come with. A lot of brush kits will come with something like this. And they look similar. Let me put them all three side by side. They look similar. You know, it's a small detail brush, usually comes to a point. But here's the thing. Most of the ones in your brush kits, I'm going to try and show you how dense and unmovable this is. Very, very dense. These hurt when I use them on my under eyes. They're too dense. They don't blur the color. I remember a million years ago on YouTube, Manny MUA was making fun of Laura Lee, saying that she never blended her lower lash line eyeshadow and that she didn't know how to blend it. And she was using brushes like these, and they don't blend. They'll draw color on under there, but they do not blend, and I think they hurt. So I'm not a fan of these kinds of brushes on my lower lash line. This I would use to do my brow bone highlight, but I'm not going to use this on my lower lash line. Let me show you what I do want on my lower lash line. I want less density. So it's still, do you see how much I can bend this and how easy it is to bend? You want something soft here. You don't want something hard. You want enough bristles that it'll blur the shadow and blend it out, and you don't want it to hurt you. You don't want to draw a fine line. I think it must be the difference between drawing fine details and blending. Like, you need some softness and some whoosh if you want to blend. If your bristles won't whoosh at all, then they're not going to blend. They're going to draw. You know what I'm saying? It's probably not the right words, but that's, you know what I'm saying? Here's a couple others that I also like for that purpose. This one especially. This one I haven't had for very long, so I'm new to it. What's Up Beauty? This is the R102. It's got a little bit more length to it, and the bristles are, because they're longer, you can get more of a, you know, do you see how it moves? No pain whatsoever. They're super, super, super flexible. You want soft, blurry. You don't want it too blurry. Like, so if I took the one, this is the Angie Hot and Flashy from the last step. If I took that one under my eye, the problem is, do you see how big it is? I mean, I'm going to have shadow blurred halfway into my dark circles. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really use a brush that big under your eye. Well, I mean, I'm sure some professionals can. I'm not a professional. I make a hot mess if I use brushes that are not suited for their purpose. This one is an alter ego brush. This is the number Sherlock. I was going to say 11. Oh, I was going to be right. I can't see anything. It's also quite soft, quite bendable, beautiful for that purpose under the lower lash line. But yeah, it has to be smaller than the one you used for your detail and your outer 7, but not so small that it's a rough point and it's too dense and it doesn't blur and it hurts you. Right? And that's pretty much my go-to brush shapes. I do have like this random little brush, which actually would work as a lower lash line brush too. Crown C513. It's actually very, now that I look at it, it's very similar to my lower lash line brushes. Very soft, but I use this for my inner corner highlight and my brow bone highlight. I had bought once upon a time the only... Wow, I can't even think of her name. The one with the hairs and the lipstick, like all the... What was that big drama? I can't remember her name. The letter J is in my head. Does it start with J? I don't know. I can't remember, and I can't find the brush either. That's why switch. She had a highlight brush. What is her name? Oh my gosh. I see her in my mind's eye. She had a highlight brush that was brilliant. It was a perfectly round domed, but perfectly sized for your inner corner highlight. And I loved that brush, and I don't know where it went. I lost it. Sad, sad day. Ooh, I like another flat packer that I like. These are the Real Techniques brushes. They make some nice brushes. I know that the names, I can't think of their names either. The sisters, the two girls that I don't know if they ran it or founded it or what, Real Techniques. But they don't anymore. Oh, I'm not even gonna try. I don't remember anybody's names. No names today. Names are not happening. Still looking for the... What is her name? This is going to drive me. You guys are all telling me in the comments right now. I know you are. And I can't, because this is not live. I can't see it. But anyway, you will find that there are brushes that speak to you and there are brushes that don't. Everybody's eye shapes are different. Your depth of crease is going to be different, whether you're upturned, downturned, hooded, not hooded, monolid. There's so many different eyes that the brushes are going to take a little bit of trial and error. I do recommend starting inexpensive and finding which shapes you need in your routine, and then pick one by one and experiment growing into them, trying different brushes in the shape that you already know that you like, and going from there, you know? Because that way you don't just buy a whole set of brushes and find them to not work for you because the shapes aren't right. Start small, buy them one at a time, and find your way to your own preferences that way. These are the shapes that work for me, but like I said, this has been 10 years in the making to come to this collection of what I know are my must-have brushes, you know? So I hope this helps you to figure out what your must-have brushes are. I gotta see, did this hold up to talking? Yeah, I don't think it moved. No. All right. It still tastes like cherries. I'm really kind of excited about that. Every time I inhale, I can taste it. Anyway, there you have it. Some info to hopefully help you put together a good brush collection for yourself. Let me know, what are your favorite brushes, especially if they're of any of these shapes, because do I need more brushes? No. Am I going to buy more brushes if you tell me something is amazing and I must have it? Yeah. Of course I am. You guys make me spend as much money as I make you spend. I hope I save you enough money to make it worth what you end up buying. But, oh, I just posted this on my Facebook. I will try to remember to put a link in the video down below. I made a worksheet for planning out and then tracking your skincare. There's a cat in here. Someone's climbing my chair. I don't think Ziva's in here. Who is that? Oh my gosh, is it Ziva? Come here, Ziva. Is that you? I can't turn all the way around. Come here. Oh, she is in here. Hi, Ziva, baby. Look, your adoring fans are so excited. Some of them probably turned off the video when I said you weren't coming, and now they're missing out on a Ziva appearance. I don't know why she gotta smell my hand every time. Every time? Can you smell my lips? Do they smell like cherries? She's like, Mom, you're crazy. You're a crazy woman. Anyway, so I made a worksheet for planning out and then tracking your skincare routine as you start putting it together. So I'll put the link down below if you're interested in grabbing a copy of that. I'm going to be working on putting together more tools, things to help you do all the things that make you feel good. Yes. All right. I will stop rambling now. Oh, tail on my neck. That feels creepy. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.